In this video, I'm going to go over the details and specs on the PISCIFUN ICX Carbon inline ice fishing reel. I've got this one brand new out of the box on the rod, just so I can give you guys some close-ups, show you some of the details of it, and let you know what I thought about using this reel. At the end of the video, hopefully you'll be able to decide if this is the right reel for you. Okay, so this is the ICX Carbon. It's one up from the normal ICX, and it's one down from the ICX Frost. Well, it's kind of right in the middle. Runs around 55 bucks on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below how to buy this off Amazon. It'll show up your doorstep within 1 to 2 days. Now, this isn't quite as smooth of a retrieve as the ICX, and it's about the same as the Frost. The normal ICX is just buttery smooth on the line retrieve. This one just not quite as smooth. Now this one, the trigger release is a little bit closer to the center of the rod, so it's a little bit easier to grab. You can also push this one forward. Now the normal ICX you can only pull back, but this one you can go forward if you wanted to. So if you wanted to use just only your left hand or right hand, you can do that with this one. Now on the ICX Carbon, the trigger is just a little bit closer to the center of the rod. It's a little bit easier to use. But the main difference on the ICX Carbon is when you hit the release, this will be adjusted by this little red dial right here. So let's say you've got a really light jig on. So we'll take this all the way to minimum. And when you pull the release, that will freewheel. You got to be careful from backlash on this if you have this all the way to the minimum side and you have a little bit of a heavy jig. So let's say you're going to switch to a heavier jig and you want to make sure you don't get any backlash. You can spin this up to the maximum. We'll release. And I'll notice that doesn't freewheel quite as much. And you won't get any backlash with this. So that's the upgrade of the ICX versus the ICX Carbon. Now gear ratio on the ICX Carbon is 3.2 to 1. So what that means is every time you rotate the handle one time, the reel is going to spin about 3.2 times, and it's going to pull in about 21 inches of line per revolution on the handle. Another nice thing about these PISCIFUN reels is they're all metal. Most of this is aluminum. Some parts of it are steel, but these are a lot more heavy duty than a lot of the plastic ice fishing reels out there on the market. Now the drag system on the ICX Carbon is this star drag. It's nice and large, easy to adjust, and it goes up to 11 pounds on the drag. And the drag is nice and smooth, but if you do get a big fish on, it starts to peel off line. There is no clicking like there would be on like a spinning reel. All the reels tested so far have been mounted on a St. Croix Mojo ice rod. It's a great little rod, runs around 50 bucks, made by St. Croix in Wisconsin. So the big difference between the ICX and the ICX Carbon is the magnetic line release. If you have this adjusted right, you're not going to get any backlash with the ICX Carbon. That's a big deal when you're out ice fishing. You get a bird's nest, it's going to ruin your day. It's going to take you a long time to get that all tore apart, get new line put back on your reel. This is a nice upgrade from the ICX. It's a slightly heavier reel, weighing in about 5.8 ounces. It does hold 110 yards of 4-pound test, so it does hold quite a bit of line on this nice little reel. Now with the standard ICX, I kind of had to flip this release to get the reel engaged properly and start retrieving line. If I just pulled it back slow, sometimes it didn't engage all the way. This one, doesn't matter if you flip it, bring it back real slow, let it release slow. Seems like this has a little more positive engagement than the standard ICX. As far as a conclusion on this reel, it's priced perfectly. This could actually cost $10 more and I'd still be extremely happy. There was no failure at all. It's pretty smooth. It's not quite as smooth as the ICX, but it's just as smooth as the ICX Frost. It's a great looking reel, fairly lightweight, like I said before, 5.8 ounces. It's not super light, but it's not too bad. The St. Croix Mojo ice rod and this reel combination felt really nice. There's really not a whole lot of cons I can say about this reel. I'll put a link in the description below. Hope you guys found this review helpful and informational, and thanks for watching.